Hi guys, I am not sure who is joining me today, but I hope that you get value out of today's teaching. It will be available on replay. My name is Wendy Lovejoy. I am the founder of the RIA Meetup, and I created this platform so that I can share with you some of the things that have helped me and continue to help me with my real estate, whether I'm operating as a broker, a real estate investor. One of the things that you want to make sure that you get done is mastering real estate objections. If you're able to join me, please feel free to announce yourself and say hi to me so that I know who is on the platform with me. And if you have any questions, you can feel free to post them here. Again, this is Wendy Lovejoy, and this is the RIA Meetup. I want to do some pop-up now and then based on some of the questions and the feedback I get from you guys, okay? So we're talking about handling objections. First thing I want to say to you, whether you are a real estate investor or a real estate agent, you want to make sure that you are working with motivated sellers. And so the first thing to do is to qualify your seller. Make sure that they're motivated, that they need to and have to sell. So one of the things that you will find with motivated sellers is they have an issue that they have to resolve by selling the property. And sometimes they come into these issues. Hi, Anthony. How are you? Thank you for joining me. So one of the things you want to see is that they are, committed to making the sale. They have to sell the property. If they keep the property, they're going to be frustrated. It's going to cause drama. They must sell. And so the thing with motivated sellers is they are going to sell, but they're going to sell with the person that's learned to handle their objections. When you get a transaction, when you get somebody that says or responds to you, whether it's a marketing piece, I love the yellow letter, people like postcards, maybe you're marketing yourself on social media, but somehow you have people calling you saying, I must sell. And so when they tell you that they have to sell or responding back to a piece of material you put out that, says that their property was in a situation, you want to be able to ask questions so you can qualify their motivation. That's the first step. You're asking questions to qualify their motivation. One, can you tell me a little bit about the property? Two, why are you looking to sell the property now? Are you looking for a cash offer? Or are you looking for a retail price? Now, a retail price means that they're probably going to want to list it or get the most money possible. Your goal, again, is to educate them. And here's the thing. When you are dealing with motivated sellers, if you give them the price right away and it's not the price they want, they're automatically going to shut you down in their mind. They're not even going to hear the rest of the information. So when I like to do like a two-step call, a two-step conversation. As soon as I have a property, what I do is I look it up to see what the property value is. You could look it up on Zillow, you can use Redfin, but you have to see what properties like that are selling for in that particular neighborhood. And when you look for what the properties are selling for, you're looking and you're finding what the market value is, which means it has to be in a certain condition. Most motivated sellers do not have the time, and their property is usually not in the best condition. So that will take away from the price point that they think. And you have to know the number you are willing to offer them. So I'm just going to use round numbers to give you an idea. If you believe that the house is the most you can offer them is, let's say, $50,000, $100,000, whatever price point you're at, don't go in there and get emotionally attached. Real good top producers, people that do deals as real estate agents and investors, they're not emotionally attached to the price point. They are numbers minded. So don't go in there. Now you're hearing how bad their situation is and you're feeling, well, you know what? I just want to get this signed up, so I'm going to take it for 100,000. Even though in my head, I said this property is only worth 70,000 to me or 50,000 to me. So you don't want to give a different number, because now what's going to happen is, as a wholesaler, your goal is to get the property and put it in somebody's hands as quickly as possible so you can close, get paid, and move on to the next. As a listing agent, you want the best price on the listing, because if you overprice it, it's not going to sell anyway. And we're in this to get paid. We're not in this to make friends. The friendships will come once you do a good job. So the first thing to do is, where did this what marketing piece is working for you? What marketing is working for you? What are you doing to get the deal? Are you looking at for sale by owners, expired listings, probate deals, pre-foreclosures? There's a list of what we call motivated sellers. And if you want for me to break that down, I'll be happy to do that if you text me or question me. But today, I just want you to get the mindset of handling objections. That's one of the main things that you have to master and understand, is how to handle objections. There's a strategy and a mindset. So after you look up the price point and you're talking to the seller, you've built rapport. I have a worksheet that you can have, and you've answered all those questions. Now, when you call the seller, they have a price point in mind. And I always ask them, how did you come up with that price point? How did you come up with that? And when sometimes they don't want to answer, or sometimes they'll say, my neighbor got 100,000, and I know my house is bigger. I know my house is nicer. Or they'll say, I just have a bigger house. Their house was really in worse off condition than mine. Or they'll say, well, somebody told me, or I looked online, and that's what properties are going for in my neighborhood. Well, again, your goal is to educate them. Don't get offended. Don't talk to them like you're pissed off at them, but educate them. And what I will do when they give me the price that they feel their property is worth, I will just write it down, make a note of it, and I continue to ask them, like, why are you selling now? I know you want 100,000, and why are you selling now? And then they'll say, well, this property was left to me. A family member's not taking good care of it. Most of the properties I've gotten recently, believe it or not, have been probate situations where a family member was left with the property, and that person is either drug addicted, or they're just not working, they're hoarding, they're just collecting stuff in the house, but they're not paying bills. So now my thing is to have empathy. I listen to the whole story. And then once they feel like you've listened, you're not listening so that you can respond. You're listening so that you can give them a good game plan. You're listening so that you can make sure that you're hearing their pain points. They want you to solve their pain points. And again, you may say, well, I just want to get to the price. Well, if you do, you're going to lose them. They got to build rapport with you. They got to feel like you understand and you're connected. And the reason you want to do that is you're not the only person that's out there trying to get the same listing. You're not the only person that's trying to put that property in a wholesale contract, because most people get their lists from the same places, which means most people are writing to the same people. Most people use the same type of a yellow letter. Most people use the same type of postcards. I try to deviate from that. I've changed my yellow letter a bit. And when I do postcards, I try to eliminate using the same verbiage that everybody else is using. So you want to make yourself stand out, but you want to make sure that you speak to the sellers that respond to you. And some of them will respond to you and they're very upset. I never said I was selling my house, or, what is this stupid mail you sent me? Now, here's another thing I want to share with you. I have been doing yellow letters, and I've been doing marketing from postcards to social media, whatever way there is to market. I have done that and continue to do that. And I have had thousands and thousands and thousands of response, people calling me back. And I will say, out of the hundreds of thousands of people that have responded over the years, I've basically had really about 5 really negative people. And those people don't want to sell. I don't get attached to them. I don't let their conversation play in my head and mess me up. The thing is, if they don't want to sell next, because I'm just looking for that one person that wants to sell. So if I send out 50 yellow letters, if I send out 50 postcards, I'm looking for one person that wants to do a deal with me. Now, I usually get more than that, but I'm looking for that one. So if I get a person that responds back and they're nasty, I just say, you know what, have a nice day. If anything changes, you have my mail, because the person is really, really frustrated at their situation, not at me. And so you've got to learn not to make it personal. And I've shared this story before where I took it personal. The first time I had an objection was in the 1990s was my first objection, and I was just calling blindly, cold calling, and the lady responded and cursed me out, literally used all kind of F words to me. And I was shocked. It was the first time I had that experience. I hung up the phone and I said, wait a minute, something in my spirit said, call her back. And I did. And she cracked up and she said, I said, ma'am, I'm just calling back to see what it is that somebody in my office may have done so I can tell the broker and we can fix it. And she said, oh, no, I never even spoke with anybody at your office. But when people call me and they ask me if I'm thinking about selling my house, when I curse them out, they never call back. You're the first person to call back. And she says, as a matter of fact, I have a house that my sister's in. My mother left it to me and my sister, and I need to sell it. And so I got my first listing that I was able to purchase myself in Springfield Gardens, New York. And so again, you don't want to take their objections or the way they react to you personally. They're going through something. If you've ever seen somebody in labor, they're upset, they're pissed off, they're screaming, they're cursing because they're in pain. And so again, you don't want to take it personally. The more pain they're in, the more you want to educate them and show them that you are the best person to work with. So the first thing, the thing that usually messes people up is the price point. I see a lot of people in this group that will just say, because I want to get a property in contract, I will take something that's overpriced. You're shooting yourself in the foot when you do that, because now you're going to get a habit of doing that. That just shows that you're not negotiating strong enough to get the price point you want. Never go into a negotiation or go talk to a motivated seller without knowing the price point you have to get it for to be able to make a profit, to charge your wholesaling fee or to charge your listing commission fee, and still leave room for the person that's going to do the work on the property. Or for the next person to profit. So don't go in there and just say, you know what, as long as I get a signature, I'm good. Because you get paid on your deal when you enter the deal, not later on. So if you enter it wrong, you're giving up your pay. You're giving up if you charge, let's say $5,000 for a wholesaling fee, you don't want to give that up. Or if you charge, let's say, 6% for a listing commission, you don't want to give that up. Exactly. And the person that just said that, please tell me who you are, because you're showing up as Facebook user. And that's the thing. Agents, you don't want to just take whatever you get, because you're getting nothing. As a matter of fact, when you take a listing that's overpriced, or you try to wholesale a deal, and you take it for much, much more than you can, really put it in the hands of another investor for, you're actually losing money. You're losing the money and time for you to go talk to the people, the marketing piece you put out, the time that you're speaking to. All of this is a waste of time and money. And so the more you practice being strong going in, not nasty, but strong on your number, you send out a different kind of an energy. And when they see that energy, your confidence that you're really stuck on this price point and that you're educating them, then that is the best way to handle their objection. So again, as soon as you get a response from somebody that needs to sell, wants to sell, whether you want to wholesale it or list it, you have to do your homework and see what is that property worth. And then you have to see, is your fee in there? Make sure your fee is in there. So if the property's worth $7,000 and you charge $70,000 and you charge $5,000 for your wholesaling fee, make sure it's in there. If the property's worth $200,000 and you charge 6% commission, make sure that it's in there. Because your thing is, hey there, Gerald. Hi, sweetheart. Make sure that you personally are committed to that price point. You're better off losing that particular person, and you're not really losing them because you're educating yourself and you're building your negotiation muscles. Okay, real estate investing, real estate listings, being a broker, it's all about mastering negotiating. And so again, once you figure out your price point, then you want to stick to that. And you always want to ask the seller, how did you come up with that price? Because some sellers just pick it out. Some sellers say, well, that's what I need for me to move to the next property. That's what I need to move to live my retirement life. They have reasons they came up with this number that has nothing to do with the price point. And so the more educated you are, the bigger your team is, the more you can help people without cutting out your fee, without messing up the deal for yourself. When they say stuff to me like, well, that's the number that I need. Oh man, thank you. If they say, this is the number that I have to get, then you say, that's great. I appreciate that. You write down the number that they tell you, and then you ask them, do you know what the homes, the properties in your area are going for? Do you know what they are going for? And then they might say, no, I don't know, but I know that my neighbor got, 150,000, and I'm just asking the same thing she got because my house is bigger. Well, sometimes neighbors lie. So what I do is I say, I can appreciate that, but here's the thing. Every property that has closed is public record. So we can look up what your neighbor got. You feel your neighbor got 150,000, but the public records show us that they only got 80,000, and their home. Exactly. The thing is, when you're dealing with sellers, you want to educate them as much as possible, but you don't want to get caught up. Excuse me for that. You don't want to get caught up. I'll call you back. I'm on a live right now. Bye. That was my daughter. So you don't want to get caught up in being, like battling with them, because it is building your confidence. The ones that say no are the ones that build your confidence, not the ones that say yes. Those are easy. You get them anyway. But the ones that say no, they teach you what you have to go and learn and what you have to implement. And so again, you're looking for motivated sellers, and motivated sellers are not going to fight you on price. They're not. They're motivated enough to say, well, I'll take less, but I just need to get rid of it. Or when you educate them and say, I know you want 150,000 and I would love for you to get more, because if you get more, so do I. However, this property, if you to get it off your hands, and you have to read back to them. For an example, one young lady, her mother was the one that was the drug addict. So she was stressed out that her mother was staying in the house, and she's, in her 20s, and she's trying her best to live right. But the mom is in the house smoking crack, and the house was left to them, and they need to get rid of it. So I said to her, I said, I appreciate you want more. I would love to put 50,000 in your pocket. If I could put 50,000 in your pocket and pay off the current mortgage, then I would also be getting more money, because again, we're at a higher price point. However, that's not going to happen. In your area, properties are selling for, 140,000. And what we need to do is focus on getting this property on the market, getting it sold, so that we can get your mom to move to the, to the next phase of her life. And then you can continue with the things you need to do. So these are the ways you need to talk to motivated sellers. You're educating them, but you're throwing back to them what they say is their objection. Don't get caught up in, again, just taking it and thinking it's going to sell because you signed them up. No, there's so many people right now that are becoming real estate investors and agents, that the ones that are not really mastering the parts that I'm telling you right now, those are the ones that are going through the revolving door. They're not making it. They're spinning their wheels. They're taking stuff, but they're not getting paid. I can't tell you how many investors I speak to that say, oh, I've been an investor for 4 years and I haven't done a deal yet. And when I ask them, well, what are you doing? Well, I took this and this is what I took it for. And some of them will literally want to battle me at the price point. And I say, no, you got to stick to the price that it is, or you're spinning your wheels. And I don't want to get involved in that, especially if I'm coaching and mentoring you.